This is your team. Jeff and Jeremy in the morning. 93.3 KZOZ FM San Luis Obispo rocks.
Good news coming out of the University of San Diego here in California that says heavy to moderate drinking will actually prolong effects of dementia.
But that is the University of San Diego coming out with. Is it University of San Diego or San Diego State?
University of California, San Diego.
Oh, okay. So there's some legitimacy there. Okay, that's a tough one to get into.
Moderate to heavy drinkers are more likely to live to the age of 85 without dementia than non-drinkers.
What?
There's that benefit of alcohol.
What defines moderate? What defines heavy?
Well, I guess it's probably everybody's a little bit different, right? Depending on how much you can take.
What is your definition of moderate? Yesterday you told me that I could slam back 5 805s in an hour.
Yeah, they're lower alcohol.
And still be okay if I'm hosting a party.
Yeah, but then I realized that we were only talking about within an hour because we were talking about the time it takes to prep and cook a tri-tip. And then I was realizing, well, I don't think I could drink 5 beers. I would have to be really pushing them down.
If it's like I
think 3 beers an hour is probably
a hot day, you know?
Yeah, moderate drinking is, I don't know.
Working up a little girl sweat going on?
What, 3 to 5 drinks is moderate? Heavy drinking would be 5 plus?
5 drinks is moderate.
Okay, I'm talking about beer, all right? Now, if we're talking about cocktails,
but it doesn't matter.
No,
it doesn't. No, it's not different because they all measure out the same. If you're drinking a cocktail,
the cocktails I drink.
That are not doubles.
I mean, I drink, doubles. I mean, I drink an old-fashioned is 2 shots of whiskey, is, rye bourbon.
It measures out the same. Like they say, a cocktail, if it's got 2 ounces of alcohol, but the wine is 5 ounces.
Oh, okay.
And the beer
yeah, but who drinks like
ounces.
that? Honestly, who drinks like that? Everybody makes their drink stronger than that. I want to taste my
maybe if
spirit.
you are, quote unquote, a heavy drinker, you do.
So maybe I'm more into the heavy category.
You're like, standards? Screw standards. Nobody lives by standards.
That's not so bad, huh? Boy, that's interesting, though. All right. See, I always thought alcohol is what was going to do me in as far as dementia, my brain, everything else. But, as long as you keep it healthy, then you'll be fine. And
I don't
healthy
get
is
that.
Heavy to moderate.
I don't get
moderate
that at all.
to heavy.
So what you're saying is spurts of short-term memory loss help aid in not causing long-term memory loss?
Well,
because when I was a moderate to heavy, quote-unquote, drinker, I would have spurts of short-term memory loss.
You used to come in here.
From the night before.
You would get dropped off here at 5:30 in the morning, and you would just finish. So I don't know if that's... I think that's beyond heavy.
Right, that's okay. But that's heavy. I don't know how you get any bigger than heavy.
The average person that goes home has a couple of cocktails every night, or maybe enjoys a few on the weekend. That's a moderate.
That says
to
moderate to heavy though. I mean that's heavy drinking. You would consider me a heavy drinker back in the day.
Back in the day, you were a heavy plus,
and you could have asked me what happened.
You were heavy XL
a few hours before that, and I'd be like, I have no idea. So that means that aided in my short-term memory loss because I had no idea what went on the night before.
Yeah, I guess you're not using that energy for your short-term memory, so it's better for your long-term memory.
So it helps. It's not as the little sprints help aid in the marathon that is life, is what you're saying.
Yeah, the doctor on this, Linda McAvoy, says the study is unique because they considered men and women's cognitive health in late age and found that alcohol consumption is not only associated with reduced mortality, but with greater chances of remaining cognitively healthy in older age.
That is so strange to me.
But the problem is they don't really define what heavy is, and everybody has their own definition, like we just said. So, my heavy is, drinking, a couple drinks every day.
I guess too heavy is doing it to the point where you die at the age of 50, so you can't get to the point where you are an elderly.
Right. When your doctor
that would be
says,
too heavy.
Hey, your liver tests are coming back, and we're starting to see an issue here. Maybe that's a little too heavy for this anyways.
Or if you are a heavy drinker, then you die before you have the chance to get Alzheimer's, then, you didn't have to worry about getting Alzheimer's. There's a silver lining to every cloud.
That's very true, right? Let's see. Today on the program,
I'm sexy and I know it.
we'll talk to Mr. Skin from MrSkin.com. He has broke down the top 50 sexiest bikini scenes of all time. That means movies, TV shows, documentaries, news footage. No, I don't. We'll ask him coming up a little bit later on today.
It's very funny how he defines the sexy bikini scenes, because it's not like just sexy girl in a bikini. There's some cinematography that needs to...
Right. She doesn't have to be all that great. It's just the sexiness of the scene or the body.
This is one of those few and rare moments that Mr. Skin actually pays homage to the cinematography of the director.
How pathetic can some people be?
I'm skeptical about some of the things we spend our money on now. Our tax money, that stealth bomber, that thing, the invisible plane, $2 billion for an invisible plane that you can see. Yeah, I wouldn't mind if they just showed you an empty field and like, hey, everybody, it's the stealth bomber, you know? Now I'm getting my money's worth. But they don't. They fly it over the Super Bowl, you know? They're like, look, it's the stealth bomber. I'm like, not invisible. You know, turn it on. Yeah, we would think for $2 billion they could blink it one time for us. And then my friend tells me, no, it's invisible to radar. So we can bomb people as long as they're not looking up. Right. Which is tricky. I guess we go in first and throw out a bunch of quarters, and then...
Dumbass of the day. 93.3 KZOZ.
You know what PPO is, right?
PPO.
It's healthcare plan, right?
Oh, the PPO. I was like, it sounds familiar, but I was like, price per... No. What is your thing? It's price per...
Oh, my...
PP...
it's price per use ratio.
Yeah, okay.
PPUR.
PPO, yes. I don't know what it stands for. I probably should.
If you work for NASA, it stands for something totally different. It stands for Planetary Protection Officer. This is a job that they listed on their website. It's open to U.S. citizens until August 14th. Comes with a 6-figure salary as the Planetary Protection Officer. You would make anywhere between $124,000 and $187,000.
Sounds very, very serious.
Based on your experience. You get a security clearance that is listed as secret, and the role involves stopping astronauts and robots from getting contaminated with any organic or biological material during space travel, essentially to protect Earth from potential alien contamination.
I see.
So if a astronaut is traveling for NASA, they go into space, they get contaminated by an alien, it is your job to deal with that matter when it happens.
So you just put them in an isolated chamber and you gas them.
Sure, whatever. You're qualified for the job. Go apply for it. $124,000 to $187,000 per year.
Yeah, sorry. If you come back and you have some alien form on you, then we have to incinerate you. That's it. Thanks for your service.
This job is listed. It has a 3-year contract that could be extended for 2 beyond the 3 years. During that time, NASA has plans for several missions, including they have plans for several missions.
Okay.
Like, with government agencies, their plans and getting those plans executed are 2 different things, right?
Yeah, but I don't think NASA's a part of the government anymore. I think they get hired.
I had to look it up this morning. It is still a government agency.
Oh, I thought it wasn't ran by the government anymore. But they did government contracts.
They do. They cut back on the amount of space travel at the behest of the government, but still, they are still a government agency.
Gotcha.
They're planning several missions, including one to the moon of Jupiter. That's called Europa. And they're going to search for signs of alien life there. And the position will have to work with several branches of NASA and external organizations involved in joint planetary protection, meaning there's other planetary protection jobs out there.
Patrol officers
that people have. For 3 years, you're going to get this job. Anybody who gets this job
Right.
is going to get this job and then not have to do anything. And then sit there and collect.
Play solitaire.
A check for $124,000 to $187,000 per year.
You don't think they'll have you?
Because you're just going to sit there on your hands.
Like, hey, well, go get Clyde. He's not doing anything. We haven't brought anybody back from anywhere. Maybe he could clean up this mess. Like,
Hey, Clyde.
we got a spill in the break room.
Hey,
Go
Clyde,
ahead,
how
get
you doing
Clyde.
today? Oh, I'm doing fine. What's new? Nothing much. Just waiting for that potential alien contamination.
Cleaned up a soda in the break room the other day because somebody spilled it. I wasn't doing anything. Still waiting for somebody to come back from somewhere.
From Europa.
Well, they're not sending anybody to a moon, to Jupiter. They're probably sending a robot, or they're sending some sort of machine.
Yeah, probably, because it is extended to robots, the job.
Right.
Still. Come on. This is not the easiest job in the world. Any moron could do this job, but still you have to, I was looking at the job posting.
You got to know how to deal with contaminants.
You have to possess broad engineering expertise of at least a year, in which one of the positions is comparable to the GS-15 level. Right there. I know I'm not comparable to the GS-15 level, so I can't do the job because I don't even know what the GS-15 level is all about.
So if you're a rodent elimination specialist, let's say you just, you're around, this wouldn't be a job that you could apply for? A pest removal? Because that's pretty much what
All
alien...
you have, these are the requirements, okay? These are the requirements. Not the qualifications, but the requirements. Frequent travel may be required. I hope that doesn't mean to outer space, but I don't know. You must take a drug test. And the selectee must complete a financial disclosure statement, meaning that they have to notify the public, because they're a government agency, how much you make for sitting there waiting for robots and people to come back from Europa to test them for alien contamination.
Right.
Europa, a place that I'm pretty sure we're not going to get to in the next 3 years, because we know.
Well, you first have to send somebody there, or send something there first, right?
The snail's pace that the government works under is this is just ridiculous to me. Somebody's going to make $500,000 or close to $500,000 over the next 3 years, waiting for people to come back with alien contamination that does not exist.
That sounds all great and everything, because you're making a lot of money. But man, if you just had to go to work every day and I'd call in. I'd be like, I'm calling in sick. Like they're not going to need me today.
And
go
this
fishing.
And this is the. I believe you would be stationed in Alabama. So that's a negative right there. You're going to be in Alabama, but then it's also a positive, because you know how
good
far
fishing in Alabama.
Well, and you know how far that money goes in Alabama.
Long
you
ways.
live like a king in Alabama on $124,000.
Nope. I just get myself a fifth wheel and put it all in the bank.
You go buy a house on with your first paycheck. You're just like, hey, okay, I got my first paycheck. I'm gonna go buy a house. You automatically become a roller in Alabama. Congratulations, NASA. Come on. Isn't there bigger priorities, bigger fish to fry when it comes to the job needs of the United States government? And even NASA, for that matter.
I would just think, maybe we could launch something into space before we actually hire somebody for when it comes back in 5 years.
When's the last time we were to the moon? Oh, yeah, like 1971, 1969, something like that. Yeah, how about going back to our own moon first before we go to other planets' moons?
I like that idea. I heard
we'll
last week they thought they found water on the moon.
Then we'll worry about alien contamination.
I think they saw it through a super duper telescope or something.
Congratulations, Planetary Protection Officer. You are Jeff and Jeremy's
Dumbass of the Day. It's Jeff and Jeremy in the morning. 93.3 KZOZ. Rocks.
Do you have any friends that have like just a ridiculously easy job that you kind of envy a little bit, because the amount of money for the amount of work that they have to exert for that job just does not match up?
He's a government worker. He works for the Corps of Engineers. You know him. He looks like the guy from it's Greco. What's the movie you always say? What's the guy?
Oh, Weekend at Bernie.
Weekend at Bernie.
Yeah,
he looks like Bernie.
He's the dead guy.
But
this guy totally is Weekend at Bernie. And he's a lush too.
Yeah, the guy makes. I don't know what I know he makes over six figures doing what he does.
That guy does?
Yeah, and
any
he's
job.
apparently like an important guy there. Like he's in charge. He works for the dams on the Columbia River. He's not doing that anymore. He's now moved to a small dam north of Spokane.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that a good get as a government employee if you graduate from a larger dam to a smaller dam? Because I would think that that transfer means less work.
Well, he's
less responsibility.
I see him when I go
more
on my
drinking.
fishing trip, and he was telling me that he's like, "Oh yeah, I got to whip these people into shape, and it's a lot of work." And I'm like, "Well, what do you do?" And he goes, "Well, I run the dam." I go, "Well, what does that mean? Like, tell me about what do you do on a daily basis? I can't get it out of him."
Like if you work in Oroville, that's a stressful job right now.
That is a extremely stressful job. Maybe they're all just sitting around on a cakewalk waiting for Oroville to happen.
But if you're,
you know what I mean?
But if you're on a dam that's working, if you're on a dam that the cement is holding together as it should be holding together,
right?
No problem, and the spillways are operational and everything is flowing just as. What do you do? Control flow? Okay, that's a lever, a knob.
Well, no, he has all these people that do all this for him.
Oh, he just looks over the lever and the knob pullers.
I think he just supervises. Yeah, I mean, and he.
Damn, I got to get a damn job.
Yeah, I know you really do because it looks because then when you walk in and you're like, well, who's running this dam anyways? And we walk into the control center and it's huge. I mean, it's like you can only imagine all the. I mean, it's like probably a 60 by 40 foot room, and there's all these monitors and there's one person sitting in there. And I'm like, wait, this one person is running all this? He goes, oh, well, the computers do most of it. I can open the spillways from my phone. I'm like, oh my God. I can remote start my truck from my phone and you can open spillways? That's insane to me.
Okay, I don't.
He might have been joking about that, but I don't know.
I don't want that job.
There's nobody working there.
This is what I would be doing at that.
Things hold back a lot of water, man.
If I had that job, I am maybe doing some recreating downriver from the dam, and I would be God complex. Okay, I would be total God complex. I would be like, wait a minute, hold on a second. Maybe I'm fishing. I'm not really happy with the flow that's coming through this river right now. Let's tighten up that dam a little bit.
Yeah, we got too much current here, boss.
We're gonna stop water coming out for the next 8 hours or so. Why is that, boss? Because I'm fishing downriver.
Yeah, well, the problem there is, they've got the turbines that the water runs through that generates the power. So, you would have an issue
slope
with the power company who buys the power from the dam.
What's 8 hours?
Or you're selling the power too, or whatever.
Or 4 hours, or whatever.
I'm sure it's more important than it seemed to me, but I walked in there, and there was one guy running this huge operation, and then the guy that is supposed to be in charge is, we're outside having a cigarette, and then we come in and we're doing a tour, and he's like, hey, you want to go downstairs and see the turbines? It's like, you're working today, huh? Oh, hell yeah, we got this thing under control.
I want one of the dam jobs at one of the dams around here. I mean, how hard is that?
There's no dams around here.
Yeah, there is. There's one in Lopez, there's one at Santa Margarita, and there's one at Lake Nacimiento.
Oh, yes, I did forget about that. But they're not spilling water. I mean, well, I guess Lopez does a little bit.
Yeah, Santa Margarita did this year.
But, I mean, Lopez does on a continuation, I know. And you realize apples and oranges compared to what we're talking about.
Oh, no, yeah. That's why I want the jobs at one of the ones here, because who's it affecting? No one. Like you get that job, you could probably not show up to work for 4 to 5 weeks, and nobody would even notice.
Until that Oroville thing happened, and then all those guys that were sitting there going, son of a bitch!
Well, hell, boss,
I got to get up and do something.
I didn't know this was going to happen. We didn't get rain for the last 5 years. Your friend that has the dam job.
Yeah.
Have you seen his digs? Like, what are his digs like? I mean, does he ever...
He just bought a brand new house. And up there, a $400,000 house is like a 5-bedroom house. It's like almost 4,000 square feet.
Here, it would cost like a cool 1.5.
Yeah. And I was like, dude, you have no idea how lucky you have it, because I couldn't even afford your garage where I live. Like your garage would go for $600,000. No, yeah. So he's living well. He just bought a brand new house. He drives a brand new, Lariat F-150 truck, and he's doing all right.
And all he does is control flow with dam.
Yeah,
at the dam.
He's the dam supervisor. He's a dam supervisor.
A dam supervisor of how many people? Just one guy?
No. I think he said he's got like 26 people. Because I asked him, I said, well, how many people are we talking about? He goes, mechanics, and because you got mechanics who work on the turbines and the spillways, and he's an office people from receptionist that answers the phone to 26 people. I think he said he has underneath him that he has to whip into shape. He says, they've been
26 people basically monitoring a wall made of concrete that holds back water.
They have a receptionist. They have somebody who does payroll. They have, a couple of people.
Right, because you need to have a payroll and an HR person when you have 26 employees that are watching a wall hold back water.
Exactly. And then that's also including the janitor, and then you've got a few people that run the spillway, and you got a few people that work on the spillway.
And of course, you got to have that supervisor.
That's the whole deal, right? We got somebody on the line here. Hi, go ahead.
Hey, you guys are talking about the damn jobs?
Damn job.
The best one is the one in Cayucas that comes with a house.
Oh, really?
Oh, Well Rock?
Yeah.
I forgot about that. See, that one's so good, you forgot about it. You even forget that as a viable reservoir. So how do you know that this job comes with a house?
Because I've done some road work down there by it, and there's a resident there, and he's got a family that live there. And then the shop is the back garage, and he just goes up every day up to the top of the dam and takes a look, and then goes back to the house and watches TV.
Looking pretty good.
Telling you, it's the best damn job in the county.
Love it. Thank you.
Nothing to see here today. I guess we're going to be good. And you live out at the beach, for God's sakes. You're right there.
You're right there. And Cayucas, of all places, one of the more expensive places to live.
Super high rent, and it's just yours as part of your job. And you just walk up a trail or a stairway, or maybe even get on a four-wheeler.
Probably does some great fishing in there. I've always wanted to get in there to do some fishing. You got to probably hop a fence or something.
It's all shore fishing.
Yeah.
From what I understand.
But from what I understand, it's all fenced, right? So you got to hop a fence?
No, there's a trail that goes around.
Oh, is there?
You can go out.
This guy's probably got it all set up.
You really want to go fishing, you can go fishing there.
I should make friends with this guy at the dam.
And get a job there, yes.
Get a job there. I'll be your weekend guy. How's that sound? I'll come out in the morning and maybe in the evening.
I make a mean breakfast sandwich. I can make one for the family. I got a friend that he supervises 26 people. How many people are you supervising?
You can just supervise me.
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.
The California Fresh poll question. California Fresh Markets, 5 Cities Drive in Pismo Beach, Foothill Plaza in San Luis Obispo. We were just stumbling around the internet yesterday, found out that the Winter Olympics are going to be in South Korea coming up in February of 2018.
Weirdly enough, not highly publicized right now.
My wife knew. I'm like, how the hell do you know? She goes, I don't know. I read it in People Magazine or something. So kudos to People Magazine for being on top of their game.
Well, being on top of their game, knowing where the Olympics are in 2018.
It's 7 months away, as we figured out yesterday.
I know, but usually by this time, and this is what's funny about it, is by this time, NBC and the Olympics juggernaut that it is
all over it.
We'll start promoting it.
Right.
We'll start, because they've got the rights. They've got, they want everybody to take note. Maybe this year they're like, well, what do we do? But then there is that thing where football, they got to, NBC Sports has to, take the next task at hand. And tonight I know that the televising of the kickoff to the National Football League gets
Does preseason start tonight?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh. It comes so fast.
Well, and this is ridiculously early for everybody involved. The Hall of Fame games tonight between the Arizona Cardinals and the Dallas Cowboys. And the Arizona Cardinals, like Bruce Arians has said, we're not playing a single starter in this game. Okay?
Why did we do it then? Nobody cares.
Not even opening series. We're not risking any injuries in this stupid exhibition of a game. And then the Cowboys come out and say, yeah, most of our guys are going to go ahead and take a rest too. So essentially, you have two JV squads clashing heads tonight. And the funny thing is, NBC is going to televise this as
like it was a regular season
main programming tonight.
That's crazy.
Is anybody going to watch that?
So NBC's got the Olympics as well this year.
Yeah, so they're too busy promoting their football season, or maybe the fact that they don't want to pay attention to the fact that it's in South Korea and it's right next to North Korea. There's some serious tensions right now.
It's wild to me to think that this is going to happen when you have a guy that's just looking for attention. And how could you get more attention than just bombing, an Olympic event? And it's
tossing some grenades over a fence.
I mean, God, it's nuts. But you know what? And you know what else is surprising to me? That 60% of people said if we gave you an all-expense-paid trip, airfare, hotel, food, the whole time you're there, 2-3 weeks? How long does the Olympics go on? It goes a month?
It's about 3 weeks.
3 weeks?
I think it's like 18 days or something.
So, yes, 60% said, yep, let the bullets dictate. I'm sorry.
The bullies.
The bullies dictate what you do in life. If you do, they win. So, okay, that's what is it. Did you write that? You can't let the bullies
There's
dictate.
an important skalifier in there that you just skimmed right over.
Yes or no? Would you go?
You need to wear those glasses that you don't wear.
I know they're at home. I wear them when I watch TV.
You should wear them when you read.
Something happens when you turn 40. I don't know what it is, but my eyes just aren't the same. So, 60% of people said they would take an all-expense-paid trip. I say hell no. 40% of people say no. That's crazy.
We'll leave that up for a little while. Make sure you get a chance to get on over there. It's the California Fresh Market. They're your hyper-local, hyper-fresh grocery store with locations in 5 cities at Pismo Beach and in San Luis Obispo in the Foothill Plaza.
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.
Jeff Stulberg is here. StulbergLaw.com is the website. I'm so glad you're in. We had JW in earlier in the week from the Highway Patrol. You know JW.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun.
We've done stuff together with him about drinking and driving and what you shouldn't do, obviously, and how you do that. But anyways, I wanted to ask him first because I was at the fair all last week. And when I came home, I realized I was staying in El Paso that somehow a cat got into my garage and he jumped into my boat and used it as a litter box.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, so I
hope you have a pressure washer.
Yeah. So, I went online and I've been working on trying to get this urine out of my carpet in my boat. And I finally got the cat somehow got out. I don't know how he got in. He was trapped in there for a while. But I got a flyer on my door also at the same time while I was gone, somebody missing a gray cat. Well, there's gray cat hair all over my boat. So you put it together, there you go. Got a phone number. Now, I don't have the cat, but I was sitting here thinking, well, geez, if they have the cat back and it was missing and we could put it together and I could prove that this cat was the one that soiled the carpet in my boat, do I have any sort of leg to stand on to ask them to replace? Because once a cat pees and so you can't get. I'm trying to get it out with peroxide and vinegar in this cocktail I found online, but I'm pretty sure the floorboards have to be replaced, the carpet has to be replaced, and one of the seats.
That's probably true. I suppose if you could actually prove, if you could prove, by a preponderance of the evidence that, like, you took a picture of the cat and then you had a picture of their poster up of the cat,
right?
And then
what if I had the cat and he was dead?
Well,
he died.
Is there DNA testing that you could do?
Yeah, sure. Well, then it would be a negligence claim. It'd be probably a small claims court because I can't imagine it'd be. Right. It won't be cheap, but it won't be.
Now, as far as the law goes, JW says cats and dogs are viewed differently. Dogs are property. Cats, because they just wander and do whatever. There's not the same responsibility.
Well, for example, there's a strict liability statute that under the civil code that applies to dog bite cases, but cats not so much.
Destroying property, things like that.
Yeah, but I think though that you still might have some basis for claim. It depends on what judge you got and how compelling your evidence was.
Yeah,
but I have to tell with you on the bad smell in the car story. One time, this is like 25, actually more than 30 years ago, before I went into private law practice, I was working for a company that a company car, and I went fishing and I threw a fishing vest in the back of the trunk. When we went home, unbeknownst to me, one of my friends, as a joke, had stuck a squid in the pocket of my vest.
Right.
So a couple days after the trip, my car starts to smell pretty ripe. By the time I figured out what it was, I could never get the smell out of the back of the car. So I baking soda, everything.
Right. I'm using that too.
So 6 months later, the company, they gave me a new company car. They'd hired a new guy, so the new guy got my car. So he came up to me one day and he said, he says, I don't know about you. He says, but every now and then on a really hot day, the car smells kind of like seafood. You know anything about that? No.
So there is, if a cat causes property damage to you, you can find out who owns the cat. It's legally, there's probably nothing illegal that has happened, but you can take him to maybe small claims court.
I don't know. It depends. The judge might laugh at you. It really depends. It'd be circumstance specific. Like if the cat was in your house all the time and you kept carrying the cat back over to the neighbor and say, "Look, keep your freaking cat out of my garage."
Yeah, I've seen this cat around a bunch of times. He got into my patio furniture.
Right.
There's cat hair everywhere.
Right, there's probably cat other stuff in your patio furniture too. You just don't know about it yet.
But there's a difference because, like for example, animal control looks for dogs at large. They're not out there looking for cats at large.
Okay. The story that we saw this morning in the news was a little bit disturbing, but things like this happen all the time. Back in where was this? Minneapolis, Jeff?
Minnetonka, Minnesota, or near Minnehaha Falls.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Is that far? I mean,
That's right. It's right off the Mississippi River.
Oh, okay.
In the heart of Minneapolis.
Oh, okay. So, anyways, yeah. So there was a gas explosion. It was tragic because one person is still missing. The receptionist lost her life. Apparently, this happened during the day. They had some kids were there doing some sports. I think basketball was doing a practice. Soccer was out on the field, and other than that, there was really just your regular full-time
school was not in
staff.
yet, so it's good.
Students were not there. They don't return until late August or later this month. So they hear that there's a gas leak. Everybody says get out of the building, and most people made it, except for this receptionist and this janitor who's 81 years old, and there's a lot of rubble because it was a big explosion. And they haven't found him yet.
Right.
He's still missing. So maybe he turns up and he's okay, but chances are it doesn't look good.
Word is that there was a company there doing some work on the school, and there were some people injured as well. There were, I believe, 9 people that were injured as a result of this. Maybe some of the students or staff that were there as well as the one that perished and the one that's missing that's probably at this point presumed dead. So our question for you is, since you deal with personal injury, where does this go up the food chain if your family members are involved in something like this? I mean, like, who's responsible? Is it the school? Is it the people that were there doing the work? Is it, how does this usually break down in your best experience?
Well, it depends. All these cases are fact specific, and sometimes it's more than one individual. For example, the 2 injured people who were employees of the school, their families have rights to recover for death in the scope of work through the workers' compensation program.
Okay.
In California, for example, if somebody dies on the job under the workers' compensation program, their family, through work comp, receives a flat or lump sum of $250,000 statutorily. That's what the current death payment is for that.
That's what California values lives at, huh?
No, for under the work comp system.
Okay.
So in other words, for work comp, the only thing that has to be shown is that there doesn't have to be any employer negligence. The person was working, in the scope of their employment, and as a result of that, they suffered some type of injury or
Now,
death.
if you accept that, does that mean that you couldn't sue for other damages later?
No.
Okay.
That's just part one.
Okay.
And that's only as to the people that were employees. You've got 9 other people who were injured, and so the families of the I'm going to assume that there's 2 decedents, the janitor and the other stuff. The families of those, the receptionist and the janitor, would also have wrongful death claims, and the 9 injured people would certainly have negligence and personal injury claims against certainly the people that transected the gas line, but possibly against the district as well. If the district knew that they were going to be working on the gas lines and there was an argument that it was reasonably foreseeable that it was unsafe for people to be there while that work was ongoing, then there could potentially be some liability for the school district. However, work goes on, construction all the time on gas lines and other utilities, and they don't evacuate neighborhoods to do that typically. So I would say liability most likely falls with the utility or the contractor that was working there. If nothing else, the contractor, if they're going to be working near gas lines, probably had a duty to have those local lines turned off.
Okay, sure. Let's talk about California for a second.
All right.
If somebody is injured on the job while they're working in California, that workers' comp, would that kick in right away?
Right away. It's a death claim for an employee. So an employee is at work and they're working in a tunnel, or they're working with excavation to dig out a foundation, and it caves in and the person dies. Well, that's a workers' compensation claim.
What if they're just injured, not necessarily died?
Well, if they're just injured, and it depends. In certain cases involving work-related injuries, workers' comp is the exclusive remedy. For example, if it was the negligence of the employer that, like, for example, take the case of somebody that's injured in a cave-in of a trench. If there was inadequate shoring by the employer, then there might also be a third-party claim against them through this normal system in the court. On the other hand, in most cases arising from workplace employment, the claims against the employer are strictly work comp. On the other hand, let's say this person's working that there was some other contractor that handled the shoring of the excavation before that individual went in there, and they performed that work in a manner that was not up to code or was done in a negligent manner, then that person, if they lived, or their family, if they died, would have a cause of action against that contractor who was not the employer of the decedent or the injured person. So in this case, let's keep it simple. Let's just say it was the utility that was working on the line, and the utility hit it and it blew up, just like happened with PGE up in the Bay Area. Mm-hmm. The claims for injury, death would be third-party claims adjudicated in superior court against the utility.
I see. So it would be against the company that was actually doing the contracted work.
That was doing the contracted work, but it could also be if, for example, the general contractor who had hired them was supposed to be supervising them in this act and did not do so. They abdicated some special duty that they had. They could be liable as well. That's why I'm saying each case is very fact specific, and that's why somebody in this situation really needs to talk to an attorney and to uncover what the true facts are
and see what your options are.
Right. I mean, in certain cases, the person who actually caused the injury themselves has adequate insurance, and you don't need to look too far. But for example, sometimes, let's just say it was some small subcontractor, and that subcontractor carried no insurance. Well, at that point, you'd probably want to look to the general, because the general hired a subcontractor that was inadequately capitalized, unskilled enough to do this, and did not have insurance to cover any harm that they might cause while they were doing the work.
Now, you know why there's such an emphasis and onus placed on safety in the workplace for these types of jobs, because there's a lot of money involved. And lives in some instances, sure, unfortunately.
And employee injuries are expensive, and they interrupt business. Especially, I mean, what happens if one of your key employees is injured? You're on a job site, and one of your key, let's say you're in excavation, and your key operator, your best equipment operator, is injured. Well, that's going to put you back on your other work. So a lot of companies actually have competitions to foster employee safety. For example, my longtime client, Meathead Movers, they have a contest every quarter. They go a quarter without
see who doesn't get hurt,
and they have with no occupational injury. They'll go ahead and raffle off a jet ski.
Jeez,
or something like that, or a big barbecue,
That's a great perk,
or a big barbecue, sure. Because you could be talking in a company like that has 350 employees.
Right.
You go a year without an injury, you could save hundreds of thousands of dollars in workers' compensation premiums. So there's a unanimity of interest between employers and the employees to have a safe workplace. Everybody wins under that scenario.
It never hurts to give the guy a call, and he doesn't charge you for that, and he'll tell you if he can help you or not. And his phone number again is 544-7693.
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning. 93.3 KZOZ rocks.
4-3-36-93 are the numbers to get through. 543-3693. We're going to give you an opportunity to win some tickets to go see Slayer, Lamb of God, and Behemoth. All you have to do is tell us who said it. Good morning. Who's this?
Hello.
What's your name?
My name's Chris.
Chris. All right. Tell us who said this, and you win the tickets to go to the concert, okay?
Okay.
All right, you just tell us who this is.
I think this one's super easy this morning. But that's because I'm a fan. Okay, here we go.
Recently, I have somehow started reading because I took internet off my phone and my computer.
All right. We're We're going to play that again for you, okay, Chris?
Okay.
Take a listen.
Recently, I have somehow started reading because I took internet off my phone and my computer.
Wow, that's tough. I don't know who that is. Who is it? Who do you think that is?
Carson Daly. I don't know.
Who said it?
Not Carson Daly.
Recently, I have somehow
Thanks, Chris.
started reading because I took internet off my phone and my computer.
It doesn't sound like Carson Daly.
If you took internet off your phone and your computer, would you start reading or would you stop reading?
I would stop reading. You also said you're a big fan of this guy.
Yeah.
Are you a fan of Carson Daly?
No.
Really? What's wrong with Carson Daly?
I ambivalent to Carson Daly. I just
Take him or leave him.
Yeah.
Hi, good morning. What's your name?
I do like Jimmy Fallon's impersonation of Carson Daly. That's always classic.
All right, I'll come back. Hi, good morning. What's your name?
Hello. Hello.
Hi, good morning. What is your name?
Carlos.
Hey, Carlos. Thanks for paying attention.
Who's this?
Yeah, no worries.
Recently, I have somehow started reading because I took internet off my phone and my computer.
Who said it, Carlos?
Aziz Ansari.
That is correct.
Yeah, nice Rob. Nice job. Nice Rob.
Hi, it's Aziz Ansari. This is what's in my bag that I brought. A very ambitious 3 books. Recently, I have somehow started reading because I took internet off my phone and my computer. You install an application to prevent yourself from having internet access except for 30 minutes a day. During those 30 minutes, you look up whatever you want, you read whatever you want. Give yourself an hour if you need to. For the rest of the day, you have no internet.
How do you say his
try
name?
to force yourself to change your mind, to reach for a book and read.
Aziz Ansari is how you say his name. And
I know he's from Community.
He is
Or Parks and Rec.
Yeah, Parks and Rec. He's installed a application on his phone that makes it so he can only access apps and the internet for a 30-minute window a day. Would you benefit from this, or would you would?
No, not at all. I'm a contractor, so all my business is run. I basically run it with my smartphone.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always looking stuff up online, uploading pictures, downloading work orders. So
But yeah, you have a real job. He's a comedian.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying what he
exactly.
does is very tough, and I know writing material and doing all that kind of stuff, but I would think you have to get ideas to do what he does, and maybe that's why he just tries to walk around. What does he do? Does he just walk around looking for
He reads
ideas?
Books. He said he
Reads books?
That's why he had the 3 books in his bag. Is he's got those books, and he's reading the books. Now, these 3 big books that he's reading because he now has all this extra time.
couldn't
Because
do this.
before he'd spend that time on Twitter, on Facebook. Have you seen? You haven't seen his TV show, Master of None?
I have not seen that. No.
It's a great show. And he's on. It's funny because on that show he's on his phone quite a bit because in the show he's an aspiring actor looking to get gigs, so he's always trying to try out for various shows and all that. So he's on the internet a lot,
Right.
on the show. The show is kind of like his Curb Your Enthusiasm. It's kind of parallels his real life. It's a great show.
I think I would rather just go without internet and a phone if I was only limited to 30 minutes a day, because it's not enough. Like Carlos here, I'm on it all the time. Everything we do, every interview we schedule, talking to Mr. Skin, I got it coming up later. I got reminders. I'll forget.
You need to take an Uber.
Yeah, Uber.
Yeah, you can only do it during that 30-minute.
What the hell?
That 30-minute window better be at about 12:30 to 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yo, bro, how come you didn't respond to my text? I text you all day. Oh, because I'm waiting. Because tonight I need to take an Uber home from the bar, so I can't. I can't get on my phone.
Did we hear that?
Yeah.
Did we hear that right? Let's see.
You install an application to prevent yourself from having internet access except for 30 minutes a day. During those 30 minutes, you look up whatever you want, you read whatever you want. Give yourself an hour if you need to.
I'm not
For
buying
the
it.
rest of the day, you have no internet. And you try to force yourself to change your mind, to reach for a book and read.
Okay,
He's trying to make it sound cool. I don't know. I don't buy it.
but
Maybe.
if the people that you dealt with on a daily basis knew that you had installed this app, say, I'm sorry, I'm limiting my internet access time, then they would know. kind of like my text messaging policy. It's like, yeah, you feel free to text message me all you want, but chances are I might get back to you. I might not get back to you.
That's funny because in your voicemail, when you go to leave you a message, like if you need to get a hold of me right away, make sure you text me. And then you just.
I left that recording 7 years ago. Okay, I don't even know how to change the outgoing message on my voicemail. I'm sure that policy and protocol has changed over the last 7 years from when I last left it.
Yeah,
I'm fine.
It would be very hard to limit myself to 30 minutes a day of using my phone for other things than talking.
But imagine how
Email.
non-distracted you would be. How nice that would be. You would.
What am I being distracted from?
Oh, everything. I'm
not gonna lie. My internet went down at my house for a day, and it was nice. We played game. My wife and my son and I. We played games. We went outside.
Yeah, it's like a vacation.
The silence, and it was quiet, and we're just like, this isn't too bad. Internet. My company QuickBooks is based on the internet.
Well, but
So
but what I'm trying to say is that was like a 1 day vacation. Now live the rest of your life that way. It would drive you nuts for a long time.
I don't know.
For a long time. Hold on, we're going to get you set up to go to the concert.
Not if you made it the standard. Not if you made it the standard. You are like Pavlov's dog. Your phone goes off. You could be in the middle of a conversation with me.
There's a lot of important people trying to get a hold of me all the time.
Doing your professional job, okay? A conversation that we are having right now. If you know Jeremy, text message Jeremy right now, and you will know that he is like Pavlov's dog. He will stop everything he's doing and see what his phone is trying to communicate.
I have a watch now that all text messages go to my watch. I just look at my watch. I have to grab my phone.
Taking it too far.
No, it's important because it could be something important.
Oh, yeah, right. Batman over here. You're saving the world, aren't you?
No, I'm just saying something could be coming in that's important. I need
Settle
to make
down,
sure
Bruce
I know what's
Wayne.
going on.
Settle down.
I get notified about traffic situations. I get notified about people that want to say something on the show.
Very important stuff.
Just like Facebook, I can look at my watch and go, oh, okay, this is what they're saying.
Yeah, people will die if I don't check my text messages.
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning. 93.3 KZOZ rocks.
How do you properly chill? Firestone Walker giving you an opportunity to win a $200 gift card, a VIP tour for 4, and we're going to instantly hook up Lee right now with some swag, some gear from Firestone Walker. Lee, how do you properly chill, my man?
I live in North County, so I properly chill. I take my fifth wheel down to Avila, pop out my camp out, and just chill right there in my chair with the ocean view, enjoying the cool weather, drinking cold 805, baby.
Let me ask you a question on this one, okay? What's your internet access like out there at Avila when you're properly chilling?
Unfortunately, I don't have any internet while I'm there because we don't like getting the hookups. We go for the dry camping because if you dry camp, you're right on the cliff of the water.
I know who you are.
Hookups. Oh yeah, I don't like the hookups because that's on the other side, and that takes your whole view away.
Right, and
so
that's
we're just right there,
See,
hanging out in our chairs, little bonfire.
He purposefully
couple cases of 805.
limits his internet access so he can properly chill. When you limit your internet access, you have time to properly chill.
Yes, and when I properly chill, I don't have my phone on. It's not near me. But when I'm at work, it's a different deal. But when I'm vacationing, my phone doesn't even come with me.
What this is coming from is we're having a fierce confrontation in here. A discussion, if you will, about whether life is better with the internet or without the internet. And Jeremy
it's way better to be without the internet. You don't even want a phone.
No, you don't understand.
When you're chilling, you don't want to be reached. You just want to be able to chill.
Listen, if I could just live in a fifth wheel over the beach with no electricity, then yes, I would agree. But when you have to go to work, if without internet, our jobs would be so much harder than they have to be.
Oh, absolutely. I'm self-employed. I own an auto glass company, so I replace windshields, tint windows, stuff like that. So Monday through Friday, I got to have a phone. On the weekend, I don't want a phone. I don't want to be reached. I just want to chill.
When you ditch the phone, is it like at like 5 o'clock? You're like, that's it. I'm not touching the phone anymore.
That's it. 5 o'clock, phone powered off.
Yeah, that's how I am too, and it drives people like Jeremy nuts because he calls me. He text message me. He emails me. He's like,
stop.
He's like, how come you didn't respond to that email that me and Suzanne sent? And I was like, well, because I really don't care.
No, I know you don't respond to emails, and I only call you if it's important. And 9 out of 10 times he will answer my call because he knows I
know. I do know
important.
that if it's a call, that it's probably something important. And then until what happened the other night, and he had called, and it was about something that could have been talked about the next day, but for whatever reason wasn't talked about the next day. Now I know next time that he calls me, I probably won't answer that phone call.
All right, buddy. Well, you are all set, Lee. We've got you dialed in. You've got some 805 gear from Firestone Walker that we're going to give you, and you're qualified for the $200 gift card and the VIP tour for 4. All right?
Nice.
All right. If you want to find out more about what's going on with Firestone Walker and 805, log on to 805beer.com.
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning. 93.3 KZOZ. Rock.
You install an application to prevent yourself from having internet access except for 30 minutes a day. During those 30 minutes, you look up whatever you want, you read whatever you want. Give yourself an hour if you need to. For the rest of the day, you have no internet. And you try to force yourself to change your mind, to reach for a book and read.
Do you ever sit? I mean, I know you don't do this, but I find myself doing this all the time. And I'm like, when I go home, I need to not look at my email. I need to really not look at anything because I'll be sitting there sometimes and I'll get an email and I'm just like, oh my God, it boils my blood.
Yes.
And then I go to bed that night thinking about it. I wake up in the middle of the night thinking about it, and I just don't sleep that well. And I'm like, I shouldn't even look at this because I can't do anything about this until I get back to work tomorrow the next day.
But you
9 out of 10 times it's nothing.
See,
but it just drives me nuts.
You go back and forth with it, though. This is the problem. And yes, you do that. And while that makes for an easy evening, when you get hit with it in the morning, you have no time to prepare for whatever it is you need to prepare for. Whereas if you read it in the evening, you'll know, okay, I'm going to have to deal with this tomorrow. Which is better?
Let's make a rule between you and I right now. All right? No emails. But if it's something that has to be dealt with in the morning when we get here, we just text the other person. I'll look at a text, but I'm not looking at email anymore. I think I'm getting inspired.
Well, I know that. So
I need to take a step back. I realize
that I know that if I really need to get a hold of you for something, not to email it to you, but to text it to you.
Yeah, see? I'm just saying. I mean,
now that I know that.
If it's not important, email it. If it's important, text it. And then other than that, that's it. Outside of work, no more emails.
I run into this, and it is mainly through necessity. From about, especially on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, from about 3 on until the kids go to bed, and that's around 8 o'clock. I'm busy with the kids, just doing stuff with the kids, hanging out with the kids, answering the demands of the kids, snack demands usually.
Yeah,
a lot of snack
keeps you busy.
A lot of snack demands.
Don't have time to be looking at your phone when you're bored.
A lot of park requests. A lot of things like that.
Right.
Okay, can we go to the park? Yeah, sure. I guess we can go to the park.
Now,
the drawback of living in a place where it is sunny 330 days out of the year.
I don't have kids, so I'm just sitting there. My wife doesn't get home till 5:30, and my dog passed away, so I don't have anything to do. Like, he used to keep me busy. Mm-hmm. We go to parks and we go to the beach, and I would always find something to do with him because he needed to get exercise, and I would just leave my phone. I would usually take it, but I'd leave it in the truck, and we'd go play at the beach or the park or whatever. Come back and see if anybody's trying to get a hold of me. But yeah, the problem. I don't have that distraction.
The problem
anymore.
I have with it though is once the kids go to bed, I feel like I need to get caught up on everything, and it's the worst time of day.
Right before you try to go to sleep.
The worst time of day that I feel like I need to get caught up on everything, because then all these thoughts start to creep in. Okay, how am I going to deal with situation X? How am I going to deal with situation Y? How am I going to deal with,
I'll tell you how you deal with it.
Thing that I need to
you
deal
don't
with.
check it until the next day when you get it.
I know, but then you can do that as a policy, as a personal policy. You can do that, but the problem with that is you're always constantly running behind if you do that. If you don't prep yourself, like I'll look at that email to see what time I need to get up the next morning to deal with stuff before the show, if anything needs to be dealt with before the show. To manage my day. I need to be able to be on the internet for more than 30 minutes a day to manage my day. While I would love the luxury of limiting my internet access to only 30 minutes a day, I don't think people would be accommodating to that.
Think about this.
People need your attention more than 30 minutes a day.
Outside of the hours that you work every day, well, I'm going to say it's about 9 to 10 hours that you work every day. You only gave yourself 30 minutes outside of that that might change things a little bit. But that's what we're asking you on the poll question, by the way. Would it make your life easier if you only had access to the outside world? We're calling it the internet for 30 minutes a day. What do you think?
I think you should just control yourself. I mean, I understand to a point, like equating it to like maybe this might be kind of grim, but alcoholism. But control yourself. Like,
I can't.
You shouldn't have to get an app to shut your internet off.
Well, I understand that, but I'm sitting on the couch, 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm watching some TV. I watch the news usually, and then that gets over. And then a commercial comes on, and I pick up my phone, and I'm looking at Facebook. I'm looking at Twitter. I'm looking at Instagram. I'm on my email, and I'm like, and then I run across some email from work, and it drives me nuts. And I'm like, why did I do that? And then I'll find myself an hour or two later, same situation. Wife still isn't home yet. I'm all sitting there by myself. Pick up my phone again. It's almost like my companion.
What Aziz Ansari is basically recommending is that we treat ourselves like children, because my daughter has a Kindle, and you can limit the amount of time that she plays on the Kindle. It'll say, oops, sorry for the day. You're already done. You've already been allocated. And there is a setting on there where you could dial it back to 30 minutes a day if you want. It's for parents to set controls on their kids' basically internet access, or their limited internet access through apps and games and things like that. But that's what he's saying that we should do to ourselves. You're saying we should be adults about the situation and just learn to control ourselves.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
I just think that, and I understand what you're saying, and I would like to think I could do that, but I think my problem is my habits in the afternoon. Like, I need to find something to do because I'm just bored.
I think you should go to Woods and get another dog.
Oh, go get another dog? Yeah, well, I plan on it. My wife wants to wait.
Are you quite there yet, though?
I'm there. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. I mean, I missed thanks. I missed the hell out of my old dog, but I think the only way I'm going to get really past it is to get another one.
Do you want 2 dogs?
I want 2.
You do?
I want 2 English bulldogs.
Oh.
And I want to get them when they're
puppies.
puppies.
Do they have to Can't they be...
nope. They can't be anything but an English
Jack
bulldog.
Russell mixes that are like 7 and 10 years old.
No, I don't want your dogs. I love your dogs, but I think when you fall in love with a breed or you have a certain kind of dog, like you have to, I can't look at any other breed any other way. And, yeah, I don't know.
They're great.
I'm not up for the
They're
charity.
great. Somebody comes to the door, they bark, and then they continue to bark for 30 minutes. It's nice.
Seriously, though. Ow. Jeff and Jeremy in the morning. 93.3 KZOZ rocks.
He's just released the top 50 bikini scenes of all time.
Hey, guys.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, good. Give me 1 second. I'm finishing up something here. Hold on.
Okay.
These are scenes that are in not only movies, but also in television shows, because I know Charlotte McKinney, I don't know if she's ever been in a movie. She's been in Carl's Jr. commercials, and she was on an episode of Tosh.0, which then the episode of Tosh.0 qualifies her to make this list of 50. But he's also included reality shows, which is good, because there was a documentary about the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue that obviously you got to include something from Emily Ratajkowski is on, because
that's right.
She's remarkable in a bikini.
You there?
We are.
1 second.
Yes.
I'm just kidding. Yeah.
So what has inspired you to come up with the 50 best bikini scenes of all time? Have you done this? Is this the first time you've done this?
No, that's why. Every summer we have, like when the Olympics were here, we had the Skin Olympics, and we've done different promotions. We try every summer to have something at the site going on where people, could have fun. And we realized we had never done the best bikini scenes of all time. And it sounds like, hey, MrSkin.com, you're known for nudity. What's the big deal about bikinis? But I got to tell you, when you're looking at the 50 best of all time, and these are celebrities and from movies or shows you guys would know, I got to say most of these bikini scenes are better than a lot of actresses' nude scenes.
Right.
That's how good they are. You look at like Brooklyn Decker at number 8 and just go with it. She's coming out of the water in a yellow bikini in slow motion. It's like the jiggle factor is off the charts, and very few nude scenes will turn you on as much as Brooklyn Decker in a bikini coming out of the water.
Gosh, I just love what you guys do. I mean, it's so spot on. I just agree with it so much. I love that Phoebe Cates is in the top 10. She's at number 5. And
yeah, now,
I mean, what an
people were wondering
iconic
why
scene.
she wasn't number 1, but I said, listen, if this was the best nude scene, she's number 1. But this is about her bikini, and
Right.
it's an iconic bikini moment, and it should be in the top 5, but not number 1 just because this is about the bikini more than it is about nudity.
Yeah.
That's interesting because on here we I'm reading through some of the criticisms on the social media, the comments at the bottom of the post.
There's always, it's wonderful.
The critics, I love it.
It's so
And these guys, man, are so passionate. I actually love it. I've been doing this almost 18 years, and I just love that people are passionate about it, and they'll say stuff. And there was one guy who said, you know Raquel Welch? And you know what? He was right. That was one we missed, and we should have had her in there. But then you get these guys like with these crazy ones. It's like just because a scene meant something to them personally, they like expect it to be on the list, you know. So
Oh my God, how about this Patrick Clown? He says, sorry, but the best ever movie bikini scene was Bess Armstrong in 4 Seasons. Bess
He is
Armstrong?
so wrong.
Who the
He
hell
so
is that?
wrong. Yeah,
Who is
I know
that?
what he's talking about, and if I showed you guys that scene, you'd laugh. You'd be like, oh my God, that is not a top 50
I'm Google imaging
scene
this
of all time.
Bess Armstrong right now because I've never even heard of her.
Believe me, I'm so used to that, but I don't mind it because, like I said, it's the passion I'm into. I like that guys care that much, you know.
Now, one question before you go. Which came first? A lot of people wonder this about you. Your marriage or the website?
Interesting. I was Mr. Skin when I met my wife. But the website had not launched, so I was in a getting ready to put the website out when I met my wife. So 2 things. Number 1, Mr. Skin happened before I met my wife. But number 2, she knew what she was getting into.
When her friends ask, friends that she maybe meets for the first time,
God, yeah.
what's your husband do for a living? What is her standard response?
He's a computer consultant. Until we know you well enough to drop the bomb.
I love that. Always good talking to you, Skid.
Does Charlene ever get embarrassed about what you do for a living?
All the time, because people will come in there and they've figured out who she is, and people will think it's really funny and cute, or they'll try to be funny and cute by telling her or saying, oh my God, you should have heard what your husband was saying about you on the radio today.
It's the reason why she won't answer our phone calls.
She will not answer the phone calls anymore. She yells at me. Don't talk about me on your show. I'm like, I'm sorry, that's not going to happen. I'm going to talk about you. I'm going to call you. If you choose not to answer, don't answer. That's fine. I can't make you do that. But sometimes it makes you look bad by not answering.
So then what do?
And she doesn't like that. She doesn't like, but I mean,
Watch
God,
yourself.
living with somebody for 20-something years, you're going to have ups and downs.
And we tend to focus on the negative. I mean, it's just kind of human nature to focus on the things that jump off the page, and that's the things that piss you off are what jumps off the page. I'm sorry, it's just the way it is. What does she say that you do when people ask her? If people say, "Oh, what's your husband do for a living?" Do you know what?
Oh yeah. You're not going to like this. She says, "Well, he's on the radio," and they'll say, "Oh, really? Which one?" And she'll say, "Oh, KZOZ or 93.3," or she'll say Jeff and Jeremy, and they'll go, "Oh," and she'll go, "No, he's the nice one." And they're like, "Oh, okay." And I don't know if they say that to placate her or not.
The funny thing is that's like she's looking at they call that the fun house mirror effect, because you're the nice one because she's married to you, so she's got to say that. But in reality,
no, because
you're not the nice one, especially when it comes to dealing with people on the phone.
Oh, that's not true.
That's absolutely true.
I may have a short fuse with ignorant people on the phone, but
yes,
but
so you're not nice.
Anybody will listen to this show
You're
and
not
tell
nice.
you that you are an ass.
I don't know.
As a matter of fact, when I was at the fair a couple weeks ago, somebody came up to me. Matter of fact, I think his name was Chuck, and he goes, "Dude, do you ever just want to punch that guy in the face?" I go, "Yeah, all the time." He goes, "You know what would be great? I know there's a lot of us out there that when he's being a real ass to you, if you just stood up and knocked him out, that would be the greatest radio of all. Just dead silence."
Did you ask Chuck's wife what he does for a living?
No, he was a big tattooed guy, though, and
Yeah,
I was like, "Well, you could probably knock him out. I'm not a fighter."
What about you? When people ask you what you do for a living, what do you say?
I just say I'm in broadcasting.
That's what I do too.
I try not to tell anybody what I do.
The last thing I want to do is have to explain myself like you had to do to Chuck at the fair. The last thing I want to do is have to say, oh, yeah, that's me. And it sucks because I Uber drive. And people always ask, what do you do for your real job?
Yeah. Because everybody knows it's called a side hustle.
They realize that, pretty quickly that this is not, I'm not well versed with my Uber game. My Uber game is not on point, as one of my wife's friends told me. She says you got to step up your Uber game. I'm like, what are you talking about? She was at some function at the Madonna Plaza a few weeks ago, and they requested Uber because they got drunk. It was a weeknight function, and it said a black minivan was coming. She knew I drive the black minivan. She's like, oh, I wonder if Jeff's going to come and pick us up, because I think the guy's name was Jeff, and it was not me. It was some other guy. This dude, okay, he loads up all the drunk moms in the minivan, and he looks back at him and he goes, all right, what do you guys want to hear? And they're like, what? And he's like, what do you guys want to hear? And
well, he's an entertainer.
Yes, he is an entertainer. He's an Uber entertainer.
Oh, how annoying.
Exactly. That's what I said. I'm like, this sounds like the most annoying Uber driver in the world, not like the best Uber driver in the world. And
I've never had an Uber driver say that to me.
And they, because he's got, moms, drunk moms.
Right.
It's like he's trying to win over the crowd.
He's trying to be the cool guy,
now,
cool Uber driver guy, driving around a bunch of MILFs.
That you can get the tips in Uber. I think guys are they're stepping up their game quite a bit.
Yeah.
And so he looks back at him, and they're like, well, how do we play? I got a song on my phone. He's like, oh, just Bluetooth it into my stereo. We'll get it going. The song starts playing. He flips on, like it was Cash Cab or something. He flips on these lights, and a light show starts happening inside his minivan.
Wow.
And I say to Devin, I'm like, you expect me to do that, really? You wouldn't think that I was like Uber creeper if I started turning on
you get some strobe lights.
If I had some kind of choreographed light show for when I pick up the group of drunk moms.
He went to Costco and bought those LED lights, and he just was like, I'm going to have a disco party in my Uber van.
So I'm getting pressure on that end from the Uber. But yeah, whenever I tell people what I do, I always say, I work for a radio station, because that takes the broadcasting element out of it.
Yeah, sometimes I say that too. I work for a group of radio stations in San Luis Obispo.
Yes, because
they think that sounds really boring.
If it starts to go south, like I realize that there are people that might not agree with what I possibly may have said, or what you possibly may have said on the radio that week, or maybe the prior day. I can always say, oh, I know those guys are jackasses.
Oh, God.
Yeah, they're so hard to work with. They're just dicks.
The thing is, I like when people come up and they recognize us from Facebook or our website or whatever, and they say hi.
Like
and
I hate
that's
that.
cool. I know it makes you.
It is the most
very
uncomfortable.
Awkward.
It is the
I'll
most
tell you what
uncomfortable thing in the world.
I hate when people ask me about something we talked about on the air, because I never remember anything, and they look at me like I'm some kind of jerk. And I'm like, honestly, I'm just a retard. I don't remember anything. I apologize.
Like that other day when that guy came up to me and started talking to me about Tim Tebow out of the blue. I was like, what are you talking? Like, where's this coming? And then it clicked. Oh, yeah, that's right. We do talk about Tim Tebow quite a bit on that radio show. Well, anyways, so we're embarrassed of our jobs. Mr. Skin.
Love our jobs, but embarrassed.
Can't tell anybody what his job really is.
Not his wife's friends, not the new ones.
His wife, until they get to know him. And I think we
should ask him about his mom. Because my mom is the one that likes to tell everybody I'm in radio, and my dad. And they love to tell people my son's in the radio, it's a radio show. Yeah,
My mom used to like it until I started asking to borrow money from her. And she doesn't think it's as glamorous.
No, she's like, oh, God. Yeah.
As it used to be.
He's an Uber driver? That's what your mom leads with that.
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.
KZOZ.com is how you can always follow us live. You can always catch the podcast there. We do a after-show podcast that you can catch. Yesterday, we had a chance to catch up with Mr. Skin. We've got the full version of it there. Jump on over there. It's at KZOZ.com. It's on iTunes. You can also get it on Podbean. Anywhere else?
Player FM. It's there as well. And most importantly, you can follow along at KZOZ.com. And the best thing to do at KZOZ.com is to listen to the podcast there. You can do that both on your phone or online if you're sitting at a computer, because we include the links to whatever it is we talk about. And I think, personally, the highlight of yesterday's After the Show podcast was the reasoning as to why Spinderella is not included into the namesake of Salt and Pepper.
Because she was just too hot for those two ugly chicks.
Right, exactly.
Those two ugly butch-looking chicks.
There's some serious logic. Some serious logic going on over at the After the Show podcast. But what we got to yesterday, and this is the After the Show podcast, the whole reason why we even asked the question yesterday of what do you say to people when they ask you what your spouse does for a living? And we were wondering if this is the truth. A lot of people responding on social media yesterday, and Danielle says it depends on who she's talking to. meaning, you know, it's embarrassing what your husband or wife does. In Danielle's case, it's your husband. You know, you're not going to want to divulge too many details about it.
Gosh, I bet his wife, Mr. Skin's wife, gets asked that all the time. Computer, what did he say? Technician or something like that. Anyways, you can catch that whole conversation over at kzoz.com. Just look for the After Show podcast. Thomas has been holding on. How you doing, man?
I'm pretty good. You know, I'm just wondering, has anybody ever tell you guys, you know, you pretty much compliment each other in a weird kind of way, almost perfectly. I've been listening to you guys since day one, back in 06, I think it was.
Wow, that's impressive.
When you said 06, I had to think about, was it 06? So you actually paid more attention than I do.
11 years? Has it been that long?
Yeah,
really? I mean, I know it was.
It has.
Wasn't it right around Christmas time or somewhere around there?
Actually, the day after the Super Bowl, because
the day after the Seahawks got their ass handed to them by the Steelers.
We had to start this job, which was just mortifying.
Well, and so I always thought, you know, like Jeremy, you remind me of, in some strange way, Joe Rogan. That's the compliment. I mean, I would take it as a compliment with some of your, you know, the way your voice inflections and the way you kind of get loud every now and then.
Yeah, I know. People have said I sound like Joe Rogan. That's about the only thing that I have in common.
I say I'm not the first one to tell you that.
No, I've had other friends that always say I sound like Joe Rogan.
And then Jeff, you know, always seems to be sometimes, because you get wound up, man, and Jeff always seems to be a little more voice of reason, but then all of a sudden that part you talk about, that kind of the Richard.
Hey,
I'm not going to call him Dick.
A-hole? I like to use the word a-hole.
Hold on a second. So Jeremy's wife's running around town telling everybody that he's the nice one. Who do you think is the nice one?
You guys, that's why I say it's a perfect compliment. Sometimes one, and it switches off, really, because I've heard Jeremy when he's done the show by himself, and I've heard you when you do the show by yourself, when the other was on vacation or whatever, and it's equally, you both can be. That's when the true nice guy comes out. Is when you do the show by yourself.
We're all nice when we're alone, but
it's much better when we're together.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I love it. You know, without you guys together, I mean, like I said, it's been, you know, it was rough when you first came on because you replaced a couple of knuckleheads that we had thought we had gotten used to, but those guys were nerds, man, compared to when you guys came on. At first, we were looking, me and my buddy were working on a house. We're looking at each other going, what the hell? What did they do? And then as a couple of days went by, and then you guys started getting warmer and warmer, and the rest is history, man. I mean, come on.
Let's get back to Jeremy's wife. Let's get back to Jeremy's wife. Would you say it is adequate statement that when she's running around telling everybody that he's the nice one, that she should probably dial back those comments a little bit and say he's sometimes the nice one?
Yeah, it's a fine mixture and a really good blend.
Okay, you got what you wanted, Jeff.
She's too close to the forest on this one, or the Rogan, if you will.
Thomas, we're so glad.
You guys wouldn't have lasted as long on the radio if you were anything other than what you are, I think. That's my personal opinion, anyway.
Well, we appreciate it, and we're glad you've been listening from day one, and you nailed it. 06, February. Have a great day, buddy.
All right, you guys too. I'll keep in touch, man.
All right. Seriously, that's crazy to talk to somebody who's been listening from the beginning, and he remembers the beginning.
That's funny because my wife runs around town telling everybody that I'm the smart one.
Of course she
I can't
does.
believe she tells people that you're the nice one.
Well, you sometimes come across like an a-hole. What can you say?
To you!
Things we didn't get to. in hashtag form with Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.
Good day. How's it going? Okay.
Getting fit and getting entertained. Did you hear the latest?
I did not.
If I run a company and this is cost effective, I buy one of these for every one of my employees because it lowers my health insurance premiums, at least in a non-Obamacare world.
Is it one of those exercise balls that like Dwight sat on at his desk?
No. An inventor in Ireland has designed and built a new stationary bike that requires you to work out if you want to watch Netflix. In order to watch your favorite Netflix shows while riding this bike, which is called Cycflix, SCYCFLIX, you have to maintain a certain speed. You set the speed based on your workout goals, essentially. The tempo, how long you're allowed to rest, and, of course, what TV show you want to watch on Netflix. If you stop pedaling, the show pauses.
This is what I need. Because I'm always watching TV, and I'm like, man, I should just go down on the treadmill, and I could watch TV downstairs, and I could just be walking at least, maybe jog, but at least walk. I'm like, yeah, I'll do that in a couple hours. I think I'm going to take a nap first. And then I fall asleep.
If you made it to where this was the only source of entertainment in your home, okay?
I wouldn't be that entertained.
And you could link it up to other platforms, because I don't just watch Netflix shows. I do not just watch movies that Netflix provides to me. I do go to Netflix every once in a while, but then there's something I like called sports too, okay? Imagine football season's upon us tonight, in fact. You're going to watch...
Preseason kicks off.
Watch two fourth string of two of the best...
Was it Green Bay and Dallas?
No. Dallas and Arizona.
Oh, Dallas and Arizona. Yeah.
So you get to watch both their fourth strings battle it out in Canton.
No, I won't.
Maybe, because remember last year it got canceled. The game got canceled.
Yeah, this is when I could start pedaling and go, yeah, I think I'm done. I think I'm only going to do 15 minutes.
Okay, tonight is a bad example of how the exercise bike would work. But if your favorite home team is playing in a midseason game, say week 10, and this is your only source of entertainment in your house.
Yeah, you're going to be riding the bike.
In order to keep the TV going, somebody's got to be on that bicycle at all times?
I've done this, by the way. Last football season, I would always watch the second half of Seahawks games on my treadmill. And I would just be walking the whole time. And then all of a sudden, a big drive would come on, and I'd start running. And it's like, it was the best exercise because I was totally zoned out on what I was doing. And I think I went 5 miles.
Now imagine if every time you stopped, it paused the broadcast.
Yeah, that would be you running your ass off.
Exactly.
Moving fast.
This is a great. This is the invention of this may be invention of the century, or the grassroots of the invention of the century, because we watch too much TV. It's a given. Now, Amazon's got their own programming now. Netflix has their own programming now. You have all the networks, and then you have all the cable networks that are also doing things. There's just too much TV out there to watch. People come up to me, they're like, oh, have you seen Walking Dead? No, I don't have time. Have you seen Game of Thrones? No, I don't have time. Well, if I had incentive, like maybe get a workout going on, maybe I would have the time. I would find the time to...
Hashtag not a bad idea.
No, it's genius.
Hashtag perfect storm. Hashtag no!
Right, I think you did the hashtag no wrong. Hold on a second. Do me a favor and just say hashtag again.
Hashtag. Yes, this is it. There's a wing shortage.
No.
There's a chicken wing shortage. The price is going up.
No.
Yes.
No.
Football season is here, and wings are going up.
What the hell?
Buffalo Wild Wings says they're dealing with historically high wing costs. They're going to have to raise prices. Wings in stores are going to be going up. People are eating less red meat, and they're eating more chicken.
And you know what I say to this? Hashtag
fake news.
Because you're driving the price of this up with this announcement that the...
Well, this is straight out of Bloomberg. Hashtag straight out of Bloomberg.
Well, then it must be real then.
This is a terrible, terrible, terrible time of year for there to be a
Now, don't talk stupid.
Well, it's the facts coming out of Bloomberg, man. You believe
Fake news.
No, I think this is drummed up press release crap to justify driving the price of your already overpriced wings up even further. Because I go to the grocery store and I see that those wings that I buy in the bag, frozen, have not gone up.
Well, that's because they were produced and frozen months ago, and now they're, you know what I mean? That price is, they're not.
That's not the same practices that a big wing restaurant would do.
I'm just telling you right now, the next time you go in to get your wings, you might be paying a little bit more for them. Paying.
I stand corrected. I'm sorry I attacked you for being a distributor of fake news. I did do some research into it, and it seems like...
I told you the source was Bloomberg. I mean,
the source is actually many of things, but the actual...
the actual source I was looking at.
The source is basically us as the consuming American public and the popularity of the chicken wing. The chicken wing has risen in demand as being the most flavorful part of the chicken, and back in the 2000s when we were all eating chicken breasts because we wanted to be healthy, we apparently don't want to be healthy anymore because America, and we want chicken wings. We want the fatty part of the chicken.
I've never been a fan of the white meat. I like the dark meat.
It tastes the best, okay?
Yeah. I mean, if it's a real juicy chicken breast, I'm going to have one for lunch today because my wife insists on buying them. Not bad, but I'm a dark meat guy. I think most people are white meat people, though.
Last year, at this time, wholesale prices were $1.80 a pound.
Yeah.
Now wholesale prices are $2.80 a pound. They've
This
gone
is
up
for chicken wings?
$1, yeah, for chicken wings. So Buffalo Wild Wings actually saw a 63% decline in their profits for the first quarter over last year, where they,
it's a serious thing.
They were doing just fine.
Wing shortage.
It's not a wing shortage. It's just a demand. Because you can't have a shortage of chickens.
It's a shortage because people can't get the normal amount of wings they want because they're in such high demand that everybody is getting them.
Because
and they're having to pay more.
Everybody's doing wings now. Buffalo Wild Wings is really to blame for their own success, because once Buffalo Wild Wings started having success, people came along and they're like, wait a minute, we have Wingstop, we have Wing Zone, we have every pizza place in the world
does wings now.
It does wings.
They shouldn't do wings. They're like microwave wings. I wish pizza places would do wings.
I like pizza place wings.
I don't like them. They're gross. They're like the ones you buy at the store. I want a good wing that's
now. The question
fried.
I have for you is Brews and Bites. There is a best wing on the Central Coast component to it.
Labor Day weekend.
Is the price of Brews and Bites going to go up because of the shortage in chicken wings now?
That is something that I don't have an answer for right now.
The guy coming in tomorrow does, though.
But when Steve comes in here tomorrow, I don't know if he'll be prepared for this. Because, this is the first time they've ever done a wing fest. And what they want to do is they want to get all the restaurants to do wings and think their wings are great.
Is he
to show up at this thing, and then you go through and you eat a wing from each? I mean, can you imagine eating 20 wings? Like, I can't eat more than 10 or 12.
I call that a good day. Yes, I could eat 20 wings, no problem.
If you pace yourself over a couple of hours, you can do it.
I have beer.
But one sitting?
And wings? I have beer and wings?
Beer and wings, yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm good with it.
Even
on a hot day. Traditionally, it's a hot day.
Token for People's Choice. Yeah. Can be good. But it could be expensive.
Is Brews and Bites to blame for the increase in chicken wings prices? Because they
haven't even done the event yet.
They're only contributing to the popularity of the chicken wing by doing this, though.
Yeah, but
we need to, like, you know how you and I talk about this plan that we have hatched, and that is to talk about how crappy certain neighborhoods are because we want to move into those neighborhoods. We talk about how crappy they are, then that'll drive the property values in, and maybe we could slide in and buy a house. Maybe we need to diminish the importance of the chicken wing. Maybe we need to spend more time on
sliders?
No, on the tenderloin. The tenderloin, the best part of the chicken. Hands down, the best part of the chicken.
The tenderloin?
The tenderloin.
What are you talking about? You got the breast, you got the wings, you got the thighs.
And nobody talks about the tenderloin.
You got the legs. What is the
It's
the tenderloin?
right there in the name of the cut of meat. Tender. It stays tender. The tenderloin.
No, I want you to tell me what part of the chicken is the tenderloin.
It's the tenderloin.
I think you're making this up.
No, that's the chicken tenderloin. It's the tenderloin.
Is it by the thigh? Is it below the breast?
Next to the breast. I don't know. Okay. I don't dissect the chickens. I buy them frozen in a bag
my whole life I've eaten
local
chicken.
retailer.
There's wings,
and what I'm telling you,
there's thighs, there's legs.
The tenderloin, but it's underrated. Switch from the wing. Go to the tenderloin. Let's even this son of a bitch out, okay?
KZOZ. KZOZ. Know the show.
Got a couple of charbroiled chicken sandwiches from our friends at Carl's Jr. You can win that right now if you know the show. 543-3693 are the numbers to get in. Enjoy it in barbecue, chicken club, and now the new Hawaiian chicken sandwich only at Carl's Jr.
No antibiotics ever on that one. Chicken breast. Eat more breasts. Bring down the price of the wings. 543-3693. What's Jeremy's wife running around town telling everybody? That's the question for Know the Show today. What's Jeremy's wife running around town
twisted up
telling everybody?
If you know the show today, we'll get you two of those brand new charbroiled chicken sandwiches. You can try it in the all-new Hawaiian barbecue or the club. 543-3693 are the numbers to get in. Hi, what's your name?
This is Josh.
Hey, buddy, what is it?
He goes around saying that Jeremy's a nice one.
Yeah,
that's right.
All right, right on.
Agree or disagree, Josh?
You know what? I'm gonna play the silent one on this one. You're both great.
That's what everybody does.
God, get off the fence.
Everybody's on the fence on this one. Everybody's on the like they've got some varying different way of answering this on social media. Some people, thanks to Micah and Jerry. Jerry says Jeremy's the nice one. Micah says Jeff's the nice one. Very straightforward. That's all we're asking you. Then there are people that are hemming and hawing on there. Patrick says, well, toward each other, it's Jeremy. Toward the general public, it's Jeff. But Jeremy's more nice toward difficult people. They both genuinely are nice on equal foot. It's like, dude, come on, just pick one and go with it.
Yeah, just get out there, put yourself out. All right. Well, hey, we got a couple of sandwiches from Carl's Jr. for you. We got lunch next time you're hungry, okay?
Cool, man. Thank you.
All right, hold on the line here a second.
This is going to be the opening subject on the After the Show podcast today. In fact, the phone numbers are the same for the After the Show podcast. If you would like to comment on this, 543-3693. We do that right after the show, like in, I guess, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
We're going to continue this conversation as to why Jeremy's wife feels the need to run all over town and say, well, my husband's the nice one.
Because I am. To her.
I'm very nice to your wife. I would argue that I'm nicer to your wife than you are.
Well, no, she doesn't talk to you that much.
I've got to watch what I say because I know that your wife has made plans with my daughter to come buy lemonade from her on Saturday. So I need to walk on eggshells with this one.
Wait a second, your daughter's got a lemonade stand?
Yeah, she's an enterprising entrepreneur.
Wait, is this something you were pushing because of our conversation about lemonade stands last week?
No, she just wants to do it. It was in a book that she's reading. Pinkalicious sells lemonade, and
gosh,
she's
that's very motivated. What is she, 4?
She said, I want to sell lemonade like Pinkalicious. So this week has been spent, my wife has been building the lemonade stand, not me, because she says, I want to do it. This is my project. Although,
what's the lemonade stand made out of? Cardboard?
This is what happens. This is what happens when your wife wants to build something out of wood and nails. Is like, let me do it. I'm like, no, just let me take over this part of it. And she's like, no. But then she comes and asks me, how do I do this? How do I do that? How do I do this? Where's the nails? Where's the hammer? It's like, I might as well just be building this thing, you know?
I feel for you on that one.
And then she puts it together. She goes, what do you think? And I'm like, well, to be honest with you, it's crooked.
And that's why you're a dick.
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning.